The fire that ripped through the Auckland supermarket of New World Victoria Park finally has been extinguished. Took them 10 hours to get it all out. Firefighters have remained on the scene, dampening down the hot spots this morning. This New World was the most profitable in the country. So what now for the owners? Anne Gibson, the property editor at the Herald, is with us at the desk. Anne, good morning. First of all, what were they doing? Obviously some sort of renos happening there. What were they doing?
New World Victoria Park was getting three aspects from what we can tell: a modernisation, a reclad, because the building had been built around about the late 90s. I think 99 was when it opened. And the third thing it was getting was a big online delivery aspect. So this is chilled, ambient and frozen goods storage. They're picked from the supermarket floor to the baskets, and then they go up to that storage area. That was being developed by Savory Construction, as I understand it. But Savory haven't described the scope of work yet, and neither has Chris Quinn. So we're not entirely certain what was being built, but the experts that I've talked to in the sector say that was what was occurring, and that the fire occurred in the mezzanine area, and that's where that big online distribution area was being developed. There was also a lot of work going on in front of that big curtain glass wall that fronts the street, and that would have been part of the reclad. So a colleague here told me about visiting in the last week, and he said there were a lot of jackhammers and a big walled off area right behind the checkouts.
Yeah. That would marry up with what Chris Quinn told us this morning. He said that it happened, the fire started, at least they think, in the mezzanine area, which is where construction was taking place.
That would make sense.
So Chris Quinn also told us that the building now gets handed over to them from fire and emergency. What happens next?
So I think next the insurers go in. The insurers, what they do is they call for reports. Now what they'll be looking at is it feasible to repair that building with the fire and the water damage, with all the electrical services, the mechanical services, the effect that the water would have had on the building, 10 hours of pumping that much water in. So is it a demolition or is it a rebuild? Now, engineers will be looking at the structure and whether there has been significant damage to the structure, whether it does require to be rebuilt. It's actually a relatively complicated building in that it has a suspended floor above the car park. So from an engineering point of view, there's a lot of loading on that. There's also trucks that come in off Franklin Road.
That's right.
That load onto part of the suspended floor. So there's a lot of engineering that has gone into that building. Now, the insurers will be getting the engineers in to say, can we fix it? Or, what does it cost to fix? What does it cost to rebuild? Now, to demolish alone would be $1 to $2 million, and it's quite a difficult site to get material out of. Also, when you look at rebuilding, there's one big aspect that people are talking about in the sector a lot at the moment. Does Foodstuffs, which owns the store, put apartments on top? Do they demolish the whole thing, put down a new floor slab strong enough to take high-rise apartments? It would be zoned for that,
Why
right?
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Because you look overseas, what have you got above supermarkets?
For houses. This all sounds like it could take a very long time. We could be without a supermarket in that site for years.
Could be. I mean, it will be a lot of investigation to begin with the engineers going in for the insurers to look at what the options are. Then it will be quite a difficult job to demolish, getting it out of a very tight site. And then, if it is a rebuild, what does it sort of take to repair? If it is a new build, you've got to go through design and consenting and resource management and all the residents of Franklin Road, the delights.
Oh, they're such friendly people. Well, they are actually, because they let people on their street, but they do like to complain a little bit too, don't they? Anyway, this is a devastating fire particularly for the staff and the owners there. Now, very quickly before you go, Anne, couple of quick things. You've been in Rolleston looking at the biggest shop, and it was almost like a quiz question. What is the biggest shop in the South Island?
Pack and Save Rolleston. Under construction at the moment, due to open in the next few months. This is an 8,100 square metre store. It's right on the outskirts of Rolleston, beside what was horse equestrian areas. Rolleston is a fast-growing southern suburb in Christchurch. They're going to get 35,000 people a week in there, average spend over $100 per basket. We also can see there the size and the scale of that vast store, nothing like it in the South Island. So when they build the packs these days, they build them really big. And by the way, it's got a 370,000 litre storage tank for water over there on the hard right. See that circular silver thing? That's for firefighting. And by the way,
clever
also
idea.
Highland Park Pack and Save had a lot of problems firefighting water storage there. There was a big row between Watercare and Foodstuffs North Island.
So is that part of the consent now? You have to have your own water, basically?
Yes, there's not enough water within the system to put out a fire of a supermarket that large. And remember too, we found out last night that the people in the area of the New World Victoria Park had lower water pressure because there was such a strain on the system with fire and emergency tapping in.
Is there anything you don't know, Anne? That's the only question I have left. Actually, very quickly, and you can only have 2 words to get this out, but somebody was emailing in their most expensive item at the grocery store was cat food, and you said?
Go to Costco to buy your cat food because it can be 50% cheaper than a supermarket. We have done, my husband and I, who shops with me, the calculation on the price per item, and you know, Costco Westgate, pretty unbeatable.
There we go. Not quite 2 words, Anne, but you did have all the information.